If you are a biomedical engineering or BME student, you have a lot on your plate. You have classes, you have labs, you want to have a social life, and it can feel impossible to manage it all. And trust me, I've been there and I've felt the same way. My name is Rahul, and I graduated at the top of my class in biomedical engineering back in 2022. And honestly, it wasn't because I was the smartest in my class. It was because I learned how to manage my time. Over the past few years, I've been refining my time management system so that I can stay productive and stay ahead of schedule without burning out. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact time management system that I use to stay productive so that you can have a more productive, more successful, and more enjoyable college experience. The simple secret to time management is scheduling your day. I like to use Google Calendar to do it, but you can use any app that you want. And if you're not scheduling your day, you need to start doing it now. Because in college, you're going to have these random 1 hour or 2 hour breaks between classes. And before I scheduled my day, I wouldn't know exactly what to do with that time. So sometimes I would just sit around, or sometimes this sounds completely pointless, but I would walk home and then walk back. So 20 minutes back and 20 minutes back to class just to kill 40 minutes so that I can go to my next class. Obviously, that's a complete waste of time. And if you schedule your time ahead of time, then you'll have a plan for what to do in those situations. So, what I started to do when I scheduled my day was I would bring my homework, I'd bring my laptop, and I'd bring some assignment to do so that I could just sit in the library for those 40 minutes instead of just wasting it. And that actually compounds over years of your college life, and you'll end up becoming so much more productive. And all it really takes to schedule your day is a couple minutes the night before to, allocate time in your Google Calendar. And I like to use time blocks. So what this looks like for me is I have a block for work, a block for lunch, a block for work, a block for gym, a block for dinner, and a block for my social, unwinding, relaxing time. So it's very simple to schedule your day. It takes me less than 5 minutes every single night. But actually, what I've learned over the years is that the way that you schedule your time blocks changes depending on the type of work that you need to do. So there's this concept that there's two types of people. There are makers and they are managers. So if you, and the way to find out which one you are is to ask yourself, what does a productive day look like for you? So for example, if you're like me and you are a maker, a productive day looks like writing a piece of code or recording a YouTube video or writing a draft of a paper, something more creative, right? And if you are a maker, what you need to do to schedule your time is to schedule long, uninterrupted blocks of time because it's very hard to track the micro progressions when you're writing a code, right? It oftentimes you just need a long block of time to just get it done. It's very hard to say, okay, I'm going to write this line in this hour. I'm going to write this line and then it doesn't really work like that, right? So you need long uninterrupted blocks of time if you are a maker. Now, on the other hand, if a productive day for you sounds like meeting with people, delegating tasks, finishing a problem set, something like that, then you are a manager. And what works best for managers is to schedule back to back blocks of time, typically 1 hour blocks, just right after each other. And you can just crank out all of your work immediately because it's not as creative to do these things. You just have to do it, right? It's mostly busy work that you're doing. So you can just back to back schedule everything in the front of your day and you'll just get it over with extremely quickly. If you had a long uninterrupted block of time, you would just spend all that time working on the first task. Now, obviously, as a BME student, you're going to have different phases of your life where you're a maker and you are a manager. Sometimes you are going to be working on a project, and that's when you're going to be more of a maker. And other times you're going to be taking a lot of classes and you're going to have a lot of homework to do and you're going to be more of a manager. That's okay. The point is that you can schedule your day around the type of work that you need to do. Now, you might be wondering, how do I actually schedule my day if I don't know how long it takes for me to do each thing that I need to do in the day? And that's a great question, but it's completely irrelevant for time management. And it's because of something called Parkinson's law. This is the idea that work expands to fill the time that you allow for it. And this is exactly the reason why that you suddenly get more productive right before something is due. That's literally the entire principle behind procrastination and why so many people procrastinate, because they actually can do the work right before the deadline. If you couldn't do the work before the deadline, then people would procrastinate a lot less, right? So let's use an example here. Let's say you have a problem set to do. If you gave yourself all day to do your problem set, you'll probably take all day to do your problem set. On the other hand, if you schedule 2 hours in your day to work on your problem set, you will be surprised by how much you could actually get done in those 2 hours. And you might not even finish the problem set, but I guarantee that you will be able to get more in those 2 hours of scheduled time than you would be if you spent 2 hours in that completely unscheduled day. And I'm sure you would agree with me for that. That's the same reason why if you use a timer to time yourself when you work, you're going to work more productively than if you just worked without considering your time. So the idea here is to set boundaries for your time, and that will actually make you more productive. So it doesn't matter how long it takes, you'll learn that, you know, over time in your college career. You'll just learn more about yourself. But what's important is that you just set some arbitrary amount of time to do each task and stick to it, and you can adjust accordingly. Time management is not about being perfect. It's about reducing the amount of time that you waste every day by building systems that you can actually stick to. In this video, I've shared with you the exact time management tips that I use to stay productive in my PhD. And I promise that if you follow these tips, you'll be able to free up so much more time in your schedule. Subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.